spawn in about 3 seconds, but you can see the smoke is coming. They've got all the items that they could possibly want.
Oh, they're going to avoid Boxy as well. Used as well as Watson only catches one. That's not the ultimate usages that you need for Entity to have a successful team fight. Is now Liquid. They should be able to come out on top. It's all going to be on Gabby's win to survive, and he can land the curse. It's a pretty goddamn good one at that. Zai's going to be killed off with no remorse, but now Mickey and Nisha, they should be able to clean up with ease. As Entity, they're getting chased down one by one, as Gabby will not be able to survive inside the cold embrace. And now Watson as well. They'll just get the stun to follow up from Nisha's split earth, and Nisha will reign supreme. A triple kill for the Leshrac, and they're not even going to mess around, instantly relocating to top.
Yeah, they got the creeps inside the base. Kataomi's trying to deal with them to make that backdoor protection kick in, but it's not going to be fast enough. Lift used. This is their last one that they've got of the game. Even just leaving Nisha up here on his own, why not? Got the Bloodstone available. He had a decent creep wave to be able to get that mana back from. What happened in that fight? I was watching down on the bottom side with Nisha just playing and looking to take out Fishman. Gabby was in there focusing on him as well. What happened with the chrono?
I was watching them get on top of Fishman. Yeah, I saw Mickey jump, and I didn't see if maybe someone else blinked away from the chrono, but Mickey, I mean, that's a pretty good angle. That's a hell of an angle. They're going to run into Stormstormer as well with the tree line. He'll be able to get some distance thanks to the Ghost Walk. They're hunting those Stormstormer stuck inside the shards, and there seems like there's going to be no escape. Even though if there's buybacks potentially there, the ultimates are currently lacking. It's going to be on Gabby to potentially get the kill onto Boxy, but this is just space. Mega creeps have been picked up. 21,000 net worth lead. And then our Stormstormer is going to be unable to rejoin the game as well with the dieback, so this should be an easy closeout for Liquid.
Yeah, Watson needs to be like up there aggressive. He really wants his level 20 before he makes another move, but they could just sit back now on Liquid. They can go and take that Roshan to be up on the top side in another 15 seconds. Why not? You know, you got the Mega Creeps that are pushing in. Just take away one of the big strengths of this Entity lineup in the Faceless Void's Chronosphere. Win prob looking like 3%.
Probably not good.
I mean, I can see it, the 3%. It's there, right? Like, you can get a Chrono into a big Cataclysm or a Curse into, you know, so on and so forth. But it's going to take a lot, and you're going to be having a lot of heroes that don't do the... Yeah, I guess they've got a decent wave clear, but Fishman is not one of them.
Really seems as well that whenever Entity are not getting... Like, because early on to start the game, they had a couple of really successful fights with off the back of the Chronos, great curses. We even saw a lot of value out of the Global Silence, but the two most recent fights, we've not felt that value. Like, just the ultimates haven't been perfect, and as a result, if they're not on point getting multiple kills off the back of that, like you said, very early on, Liquid, if they get a long drawn-out fight, they will win that fight. There is no doubt about that, and we've truly seen that. So for Entity, I mean, they're way back in. That 3%, that 4% now is just a multi-man chrono and going from there.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it being a possibility in the draft, right? Like, they did such a good job team fighting in game number 1 that they just backed themselves to say, you know what, we're going to be able to do it again. And, well, it looked quite good for the first, like, 20 or so minutes of this game. It's just, again, a couple of team fights. It was literally 2 team fight victories that Liquid needed to be able to just storm through your base.
So interesting. And try and relocate to pick up the... I mean, I see why. If Io still hasn't had the shard just yet. Definitely one of the best pairings. Yeah, I mean, you've got that too, so...
And the Holy Locket. He's not short of survivability here, is Nisha. Aegis as well.
How do you... Dude, how do you defend this, actually? You have DK Illusions, Nisha sieging from far, Familiar's also being a pest.
Just go. It's going to be one of these wraparounds, right? Nisha is the bait. Like, you cannot go onto this guy. He's got so much survivability.
Abby's trying. Nice scan. Release aware that something's occurring on this right side.
Just use the Boots of Bearing to buff up. Look at this. Look at the
They're falling, man. So someone needs to make a play, but Liquid are making sure they never group up. Katomi, he's just forced to try and charge in. A Global Silence going to fly out as well, but it's just not good enough. They might be able to get the kill on Tanisha, but yeah, like you said, Mickey and the Familiars, they'll turn to the throne. Who cares about the Chrono? Because the rest of the Liquid members have their eyes on the prize, and they'll be rewarded with this Game 1 victory.
They will indeed, and turns out fast-paced Dota can really make the enemy team a little bit nervous. You know, you got to have those... you want a larger margin for error, right? You want to be able to not execute everything perfectly and still have everything work out overall, right? And what are things that do that? Things that kind of are guaranteed to happen. You're always going to be able to survive through with an IO Leshrac pairing, especially once you get into a few of those earlier items. And just the Blink Dagger to be able to secure a lot of those kills on the Tusk, on the DK, it allows them to find those quick early pickoffs that they needed to be able to take out these really impactful team fight heroes that Entity were looking to pick up. I still think there was, I don't want to say there was nothing wrong with Entity's draft. It was just, again, a couple of fights didn't go their way and Liquid took full advantage.
Yeah, exactly right. Just a couple of fights going their way. I mean, maybe just being a little bit too reliant on like these ultimates and connecting onto multiple heroes, if you want to say that could be a bit of a concern, but I mean, honestly, if a couple of the fights look differently, I mean, they definitely could be the ones taking a 2-0 victory. And I think regardless, a lot of the talk, at least for me in particular, is just going to be on Entity because this is a newly formed team. And you're able to take one game off Liquid, dude. Like, that's probably one of the hardest teams currently in your group. So the fact you're able to get one game off them and you looked pretty goddamn good as well as to, I say, give them a lot of confidence now with the rest of the series they have.
Oh, absolutely. You know, this is one of those games that it feels like a bonus, you know? When Liquid are on form, they are grand final worthy teams. So
yeah.
If you're able to take even just a single victory on them, maybe that's going to be enough to secure you a better chance at getting second place in your group, which still gets you that automatic advancement through to the group stage, not having to play the deciders.
Which you really don't want to play those deciders because it's just a scary position to be in. Exactly right. One series is all you have. So, I mean, seeding will be important regardless, though. Like, third place is going to play sixth place from the opposite group. So, you know, still, I guess if you don't come in the top two, still seeding is very important overall. But, you know, they're going to be able to at least get a 1-1 tie. And that game, we saw a lot of signs of life for Entity as well. So this newly formed team looking pretty good. But of course, it's going to be Liquid that take the second game. And that's going to be nice for them to at least be able to tie up their first series and heading to the next one with some momentum as well. But for us, you are done for the first series of the night. We are not done with Liquid, however. We're going to get another Liquid series. They're going to be taking on Execration, which we'll see occur right after this break.
Open your eyes. Tonight, I'm going to show you the wonders of the mall.
I need warriors.
There is a place where you can elevate what's hidden inside. Where you can reframe yourself. Sonomi means the new you. The you can step into. Because when we know who we really are, we become unstoppable. Enter new dimensions of you. Sonomi.
were to stand still, if I had a say where I'd run to, where I would play, if time bent to my will, if I could decide where I should remain, where I would hide, sure as the sun, come rain or shine, I know where I belong. Time were to stand still, if I had a say where I'd run to, where I would lay, if time bent to my will, if I could decide where I should remain, where I would hide. If time were to stand still, sure as the sun, come rain or shine, I know where I belong. Sure as the sun, come rain or shine, and know
considering the position they're in right now.
Do you think that Slark is unplayable? Because for me, for Team Secret, it looks like perhaps a Slark game. Like
Slark.
you get that boy for Chrysalis.
Could work.
Yeah, you get on top of Drow easily.
It could. His Monkey King.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah,
is-
it's Chrysalis. It's Chrysalis. It's gonna be Monkey King probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking Monkey King, but I'm also thinking, is Bloodseeker viable here? Probably
think
not
it's banned out.
fantastic.
Yeah, banned out last ban.
Oh, it was
Same
last ban,
game.
right.
It
So then,
wasn't
then,
bad,
I'm,
like,
then
it
I'm
was a good
looking at
shot,
like,
yeah.
so then I'm looking at probably Monkey King. I'm not gonna say no to Slark. I don't think it's a bad Slark game, to be honest.
Huskar.
But also forgot about the existence of this hero. It is the Husker, last pick for Secret and Extreme Gaming. How do they play the snap and the ET? Bleeding the suspense, the drum roll.
Well, Ember is mid, right? So let's see. Maybe Snap ET on the offlane.
That's
Maybe
probably
Snap
the move,
Rubik.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I still put.
I'd like ET Rubik and Snap Drow.
You're
The
wild.
suspense
You're
is killing me here.
you're wild. You're wild. I would
Or
never
ET.
separate. Yeah, I would never separate the ET from the Drow. Like I feel that's just a cookie cutter. That's the reason why they third and fourth it.
Hence
But-
why you are the more knowledgeable professional. at
No,
least
I
in
just
terms of
spam it.
the gaming field.
It's
Oh,
nothing
you
about
spam it too.
knowledge. I just spam ET. That's it. I used to play it a lot on 5.
I remember watching one of your pubs. I think I'm not sure whether you were playing ET or somebody else, but you were yelling at them like, "Why isn't this ET like controlling?" Because that's the one thing you need as a core, right? Like get that Elder Titan to close in the gap, slow him down, get a stun, pick up anything that allows your carry or your 3 to close in the gap to start dealing damage. So ET
How
also
hard was I
amplifies
yelling?
damage.
How hard was I yelling? I do like to yell,
were,
not too much.
You were like
One
in
out
a
of 10.
good in a good Balkan way. You were fired up. So you weren't like yelling. You weren't mad. You weren't agitated, but you were getting there. So from a 0 to 10 scale, I'd say based on volume 7, but reality is probably a 5.
Okay, and what do you think about this CT here in the draft from 0 to 10? I would put it in a good 8. I think it's a really good ET game overall.
7.58, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No
Cool.
arguments there.
But then again, it's gonna be versus Huskar. Do you think that this Huskar is just like the cheese pick that they needed? Like more or less the cheese pick?
Can work. I guess it can work. Like, with this Elder Titan, I see weakness in the Husker, right? Because he's not like super tanky. We can't kill this guy when he's level 9, level 11, somewhere around that area. Husker just brawling against everybody. He's taking damage for sure, but he's just not dying. I think the ET kind of scales that fight a bit better in a sense. So Extreme Gaming can match up. Plus, you got a Drow. So Drow, Elder Titan, both great dealing damage, but can they distance them away from the Drown Ranger? That's what I'm worried about. Can they protect this carry with just Telekinesis, with just Cookie, with Stomp? Is it enough? It's not like you have a stun. You just got ways of reposition. Maybe that's enough.
Yeah, that's how I always see the Huskar as well. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of damage coming from I don't know, ET, from Drow. But then again, I'm thinking it's a last pick Huskar. They knew what they were picking it into, and they still picked it. So they must know what's up. They must know the power spikes, the timings, right?
I mean, who are we kidding here? It's Armel. Like, it's not Crystallis with the Husker. It's Crystallis with the Wind Ranger. Armel with the Husker. He's a specialist on this hero for sure, and on many of these mid heroes, Armel is just a real force to be reckoned with in the mid lane.
Yeah, and he'll be running at mid, right? Most likely.
Yep. Yes, and the matchup, Ember loses. Ember loses to Husker every single time. But the point is, where does the Husker start overextending under the tower? Support rotation, kill the Husker, Ember lives. That's where you lose your advantage. But Husker versus Ember, 100-0, Armel should be winning this matchup.
Yeah, but he's not playing the Ember. Ember won't be mid. It's Snap. They switch things up. Ember is actually played by
Very
JT.
smart. Very smart.
They're playing it on the offlane. I mean, look, it's gonna be Grandma versus Huskar. It's a bit better, definitely.
It's a lot better.
let's put it that way. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's still though you're playing versus Husker.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's
It's not too much
probably
fun.
it's probably an idea Extreme Gaming had during the draft that yeah we could play the snap mid. So like you mentioned it in the draft, yeah they could put the snapfire into the mid lane, but they don't know enough about the draft to really like set their heroes in place. Except for maybe their safe lane duo was already the drown, the ET idea locked in the second phase. But putting this Ember into the off lane, meaning that they won't get the same itemization from their offlane Snapfire, but at the same time, it means Ember's not going to lose this matchup versus the Husker. So I, I I'm curious to
but
see where this is going to go in the end.
I don't know. I think they overcomplicated things a little bit. Again, yeah, it's a last pick Huskar. You want to kind of make his life harder, but you mentioned these rotations mid, punishing him for diving. Maybe that was a better thing than making an offlane Ember. Played by JT. Like JT is super capable, but let's see. Like I'm a bit reserved when I see this. I'm always a little bit reserved, but it can work.
Oh, bottom lane FBZ already dropping fairly low on HP, but will survive for the time being a DY. Enigma actually throws out the grenade onto the Elder Titan. He's got 7 stick charges, so he will live, and the salvos to pop on the Mars from FBZ. Gonna do just fine. Mid lane Snapfire also taking a lot of damage from Armel. Both we already saw in the 9 Panda series that Extreme Gaming, they like to stretch their limits as far as they possibly can. I feel like that is the big tool that they gotta live around this series as well. They can't give an inch. Need secret.
Oh, nice little chains by JT. Blood grenade as well on top. They just don't have enough damage at this point. I love the Blightstone, by the way, very early on. Like instantly into Blightstone in the lane. This reminds me of, I don't know if you remember when Nature's Prophet was played on offlane all the time. Ember was kind of popular as 4, and you would always go Blightstone, Sleight of Fist. Like Blightstone, Sleight of Fist, and just right-click them together with your range core. Rubik, he doesn't right-click as hard, but it's still not bad. Like, still pretty useful.
See what the game is looking like right now. Mars is struggling in terms of CS. He's only picked up 5 up till now, but in the top lane, Yamich, they get chained up by JT and Jinq, and Crystallis trying to help him out as much as possible. Telekinesis bringing him back, but JT's gonna be closing out the first kill for Extreme Gaming, and Crystallis can't even get the courier to die. That would have been Jinq's bit of extra gold going in the way of Secret, but they're gonna be left empty-handed.
Yeah, nice little fight by Extreme Gaming around that around the Lotus Pool. Usually Tusk is this. Wait, there's Tusk, there's Undying, and maybe Ogre, right? Okay, Elder Titan. Like 4 heroes that are absolute beasts in the laning stage as melee cores. And as Tusk, you want to be in front, you want to be trading hits, but man, Rubik and Ember, they just have way too much firepower at this point.
Oh, FBZ's gonna get slowed up a lot. Maybe this is a kill opportunity for Extreme Gaming. FBZ very low on HP, and Ghost will secure it for the Drow. Also clear out the Eidolons from Puppey at the same time. Bit of extra CS on top of a kill. Very happy. Feels good, man.
Yeah, he's free farming on Drow. Like, this is why I love this lane, by the way. You get level 3. Once you get level 3, with Drow, you can slow them sufficiently for Elder Titan to kill him off. Like, he gets level 2 Astral Spirits that there's just way too much damage being dished out by the 2 of them. So, especially if you're on the long lane, like the off lane, and you're somewhere behind, around the enemy tower, they will run you down 9 out of 10 times.
Out of that, finding on the top lane, Shackle shot to keep them at bay. Crystallis forcing out Extreme Gaming. Meanwhile, Armel has forced Paparazzi to take a long walk of shame all the way back home. This Husker obviously doing Husker things, up to 30 CS now. Snap only below 20.
Unsurprising, right? Like this
Unsurprising, yeah.
just happens so very often. You're playing versus Huskar. At some point, it's just there's more work than running back phase and healing up than just staying there and looking at him as he takes last hits.
Talking about, we have, when we were watching the 9 Panda series, actually reminded me about accents and stuff. Husker as a hero name. Do you have your own way of pronouncing Husker in your native language? Is it just Husker, or is it like?
It's Huskar.
Oh, it's like we say in Finnish. We say Huskar as well, or Husse. You know, like a
Husse.
nickname.
Oh my god. My math professor at the university was Husset.
Oh,
Husse
Husse.
Patrick. Yeah. He
Oh,
was kind of
Chris-
angry, just like this, bro. Just like
Now,
this,
maybe
right?
Crystalis, as one of the top lanes, going to be angry too with that slate connecting. Will finish off his life. So maybe Husse is going to have to stand in for the team and start looking for some
Please
kills. Armel.
don't mention that name. It's triggering me. My palms are sweating right now.
Math PTSD striking
Paparazzi.
as Paparazzi going to get caught by Yamich. But Elder Titan with the intervention, DY. They will force out that Hastrun defensively back on their side of the map.
Yeah, a couple of rotations going towards that mid lane, right? Trying to poke a bit, see if you can get an advantage on the Huskar or perhaps get a kill on him. Both sides, that is, attempting a rotation. DUI is still around, but like there's no way. Snap and DUI, they can't really do a lot to the Husk. Maybe they need +1, and then it's possible. But not like this.
Wisdom runes in 8 seconds. Yamich is already contesting, and Jinkyu's going to be here too. Snowball versus Lift. Snowball's going to win. And Puppy also gets the other, so both Wisdom runes going for Team Secret. And JT rotating in to help out Jinkyu. Maybe they can get Yamich. Chains are still available, though, so it's going to be a desperate teleport attempt, but he's just going to force them out, and there's a Defender's Gate. You can't go there. You just can't go to the enemy base anymore, Yamich. You don't have a key to that door.
Yeah, and he didn't manage to ice shards in a way that prevented Rubik from getting to him, so TPing wouldn't really work. There's still Lift. Nicely done by them, like stealing one rune, taking the other. That's a huge XP difference now that went in their favor.
That's something that we repeated a lot with Fear. About if you get both Wisdom runes at 7 and 14, you have a what's a good word I could use here? Gigantic advantage in terms of experience and team fighting.
Humongous.
Your opponent's
advantage.
humongous. Yeah, that would be one. Because like your opponents are barely getting to like level 6s if they don't get any of those Wisdom runes, and especially in a game where you don't have a lot of kills. You don't get your ultimates to buff up that extra needed damage for the cores to finish off the kills, right?
Yeah, it just happens so often. Like you see these two sports level 4 chilling around mid, or some side lane trying to get levels. They get him.
Pretty easy catch for Team Secret. That's their first kill. 8.5 minutes into this game. Secret also on the board now.
What do you think? Why are they so slow to like get the ball rolling? They don't really have a playmaker, right? Like that's probably the biggest issue.
Yeah, it's like I guess you could rotate with the Husker, but isn't necessary. I guess Armel could just keep up amping up, pushing towards that next item, or even just look for an experience advantage, because they did pick up the Wisdom runes. They're in a pretty favorable position to start amping up their game. Enigma probably wants to hit level 6. He's about to get it from the jungle right now. But is there something they're waiting from the wind? I mean, Crystalis he's okay in farm. He's level 6 in 9 minutes, but he doesn't have a Mithril Hammer or a Javelin, so you don't really have kill potential. Yeah, I guess no playmaker, no damage either.
Yeah, you can't. You're kind of waiting. I'm not even sure on who. Like Tusk is probably your best playmaker at the moment if you're Secret, and you could see that every move that was attempted was pretty much attempted by him. That's the one rotating around, trying to make space. Yeah, it's all Tusk. Every breath he takes, I guess, I don't know. Every beer he takes, maybe that's
every bounty he takes. It is Armel who picks up the triple bounty, snowball into the mid, and that's pretty much it. Snowball fight with Paparazzi. And minutes in, only 5 kills so far. Pretty calm pace for our first matchup
right?
between these two teams.
I expected some bloodbath. I don't know why. I see Huskar. I'm expecting all hell to break loose level like minute one, but no, instead they're taking the slow and steady approach, and I think it benefits Huskar. Like that's how you want to be playing this hero. You don't want to be diving super early on.
Maybe that's the reason why Secret also had those long games in the previous series, going to early late game, basically 40 minutes, while Nine Pandas running over Extreme Gaming in the last series, pretty much like plus 20-minute games, 20 and 30 minutes ish. I will double check that in a moment. I don't have the tab open, but it was pretty much very fast games, so that's all we
around
need to know.
20-minute mark first game for sure.
No tower pressure on either side or any side of the map. Everybody's just
Oh, the
farming
tier
and
one.
hitting creeps. It's just one of
Yeah,
those games, Lizard.
Tier 1 on top lane. They have Orb of Corrosion, but Enigma is TPing in. Puppy's here. Black.
Oh, he doesn't have mana for Black Hole.
Mana. He
He
needed
does have
like
a
3 mana
medallion,
here.
but yeah, 3 mana short. Catching JT. And Paparazzi does have Mortimer's kit. Oh, he uses it. And he's going to find the kill. Puppy's going to go down. JT. That's his 4th kill on the offlane Ember.
He's doing really damn fine on that Ember. I think one of the reasons, even if he Black Holes on top, there's no ulti on Wind Ranger, or she didn't have it at the moment, so probably you don't get that kill anyway, right? So why waste the Black Hole? Without the damage, that's one of the problems that Secret have got. You talked about it earlier as well, like the damage of Wind Ranger is not there yet. What they have to do is just a ball up around this Huskar and create that ball. I feel that's literally the play you play this game.
We'll see when Armel is going to rally up the troops, or is it Puppy yelling everybody together? Building the Solar Crest. Mars is probably the Mars Blink. I would say that's the key to go, because like then you get the Husker in easier. It's easier for Puppy to also monitor the fight. Where does he drop the Black Hole? Who does he focus it on? And Tusk is also building his Blink, so Yamich only 1,000 gold short from that. Secret looking at a strong 16, 17-minute timer. Maybe Mars can finish off that Blink sooner.
Nice shackle,
It is
but
pretty much needed.
actually, okay.
The Black Hole, they're going to catch the Ember Spirit, and it is going to be enough.
Baited him a bit
get the
there.
kill, but participate in it. Yeah, they definitely did. With the light, meanwhile in mid, Yamich going to get caught by the rod. Does use the ice shards there.
Nice
and
stomp.
Mars also gets sleep on the spot by DY.
That was a really, really nice stomp from DY. Like instantly as they TP in. There was an arena on Mars. Paparazzi already used the cookie, so he was pretty damn deep. But DY just master on Elder Titan. You know, every time
they pick this hero.
Yeah, every time I see DY and I see PYW, there's a tear coming down my face. When
Tears of happiness.
Not really. When I remember the patches of him playing Elder Titan and PYW playing that bloody Weaver position 4 every single game, those were good times. Good games have been played by them. That was
But
them
they're
in...
not tears of happiness. Is it tears of sadness then?
Yeah, tears of sadness because they're not together anymore.
Ah.
But
tears of happiness in a way, like you're reminiscing, like all the good days. But
we can also put it that way. No. Let's put it in a positive way. I'm reforming myself.
I'm all in for PMA. I'm all in for PMA.
I like your
Let's see,
approach.
FBZ. He's got this Invis rune still for a bit longer, but Extreme Gaming smoking up towards top. Ing and Scan right on top of Mars. FBZ wants to use that blink, but no information given. No idea. Also under reward, and Puppy's gonna get caught. Or is he? Tumbler Tour to safety. Puppy's out of there. No casualties on either side. No blink reveal. They did actually see him have that blink because his invis ran out before the smoke. Is actually good information for Extreme Gaming, because they probably thought Secret was literally just making a move on us as we were making a move on them.
Yep.
I mean, Secret's ready.
They got some good info after that. One info that they do not have is where's Huskar? What's he up to? What's he doing? How is he? How's the fam? The kids? Did the little one start going to school or not? They don't know anything
Husker school.
because Armel has been like he's been away on the map. He's not even showing in the lanes for quite some time now. He's got the
Yeah,
halberd going towards
on,
BKB.
on a bit of a parental leave, I guess, with this Husker just going into the jungle. He told his kids that he'd go to the shop to buy some milk, but he never came back.
Yeah.
Instead, he's just been farming the jungle.
What do you think? What kind of family Huskar runs? Like, is he a good
Do
dad?
I
a
even want to
bad
know?
dad? Probably not.
His ulti is called Life Break, so that doesn't really tell a very positive story about their family. So I'll not go too deep into that. But it's a good question, Lizard. Unfortunately, I
he-
won't answer it.
Yeah. Maybe he breaks the lives of everyone that threatens his family, but he's actually the best dad ever. I even think I saw a picture somewhere, like some fan art in which he's raising his kid,
Oh,
something
Puppy
like that.
doesn't have his little Dolans going in with him this time. They're still in daycare somewhere, but this Enigma is in big trouble. Mortimer's Kids is flying on top of two. FBZ gonna burn alive. And here comes the stolen arena from Jinkyu. Catches Armel. He's inside. Silenced up as well. Perfect initiation. And the connection from Extreme Gaming. And they're
Holy
going
hell.
to take 4 from Secret.
Damn, that was good. Like first the Earth Splitter catching both of them, bringing them real low. Then the Morty's kisses as well. The stolen arena, like you mentioned. I'm not sure. Team Secret, like they're just not doing much on the map. They're waiting and waiting, and I'm not sure what they're waiting for anymore. Yeah, they're very extremely passive, and because of that passiveness, like you put yourself in this position in which Extreme Gaming, they know where you're at, what you're doing, and they can set up easily.
That's going to spell difficulty for Team Secret because, of course, they need items to deal damage, but right now they're not even making anything happen on the map. They are probably still planning for a better tomorrow. It has to happen during this game, though. You don't want to sleep past your luck. And, of course, JT, as soon as he's spotted under those wards placed down there, they will be able to scout out his position, find a quick kill. Crystal is also finding his first kill of the game 18 minutes in with this carry Wind Ranger.
Yeah.
To start.
It's also a pretty good pick off on the Ember. Do you think that it's a problem that they don't necessarily have a utility hero on Extreme Gaming? Like a utility in an offlane sense in which you're actually gonna have a lot of farm.
Yeah, like the Snapfire was the idea for it, right? That you could itemize differently as a 3 position, but now things are a little bit different. Could end up biting them if this game does end up stretching out, but we'll find DY and trying to kill off Jinkyu, but the stolen arena blocking some of those projectiles. And FBZ goes down. Armel, he's isolated though. Extreme Gaming, can they get this kill? It's a big one. Armlet toggling Armel. Of course it is, but he will finally end up dropping into the arms of JT. Yamage trying to battle it out. Crystallis also taken down. Black hole placed on 2. Maybe they can kill the Rubik, but I think the Ember is going to be a bit too much to deal with. While Ghost is finishing off Yamage. And Puppy, the last man, not even standing. It's a team wipe. Extreme Gaming pulling out the Extreme.
That was some good Armel toggling happening during that fight, but still, Extreme Gaming, they managed to wipe all of them in the end. Nicely done. Like, I would analyze more, but I was too busy trying to figure out a pun on the level of Lacoste. Armel toggling, I'm not sure. There is definitely a pun there in somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not an arm lulled.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, is it probably my point? If we are really gonna analyze and talk about these fights, is that they need a
We don't
BKB on
have to.
Huskar. We don't have to, but let's do it a bit. Like, they need a BKB on Huskar, right? Like, without that BKB, I feel he goes in and he just dies every single time. Yeah, you can maybe kill one target off, but they just have so much physical damage. They're killing him off.
True. Yeah, but also I think positioning is a really big one here. Like they lost their Wind Ranger pretty early on in the fight to the Drow Ranger on the sidelines of the fight. We had like 2 to 3 different skirmishes going on. And Secret, I feel like they're a lineup that wants to stick at least somewhat close to each other. The Mars potentially buffing up the rest of the team with the Bulwark, sinking up hits, allowing the Wind to go for wraparounds, allow the Husker to just dive in deep and find those targets to kill. But they were all spread around, and right now it's the same thing. Yamich is basically just scouting out for a ward. He does get the D ward, but he loses life. But at the same time, JT going to be caught in the back line, and he tries to remnant jump away, and he's going to be about successful with it.
Oh,
Doesn't
damn.
almost go down the spear dot as well, and the burning spears and everything that's been thrown his way will not take him out.
JT playing
survival
December.
story.
Yeah, JT playing December like it's the most common offlane hero, right? Like it's the most common hero that everyone picks on the offlane, and he practices it every damn game. Very nicely done by him. I like the build as well, by the way. Has that blade mill, tanking himself quite a bit up.
And also dealing damage in the process. He was dodging spears while being burned by burning spears.
Yep.
Thank God there's no Britney Spears here, at least, because I don't know what would happen after that. But at least Roshan going in the way of Extreme Gaming. And the Aegis secured in their pocket. That's going to be a huge tool for Ghost. But Secret, it's not looking too hot for them. They've been unsuccessful 2 fights in a row now with this Husker lineup. Where's the aggression going to come from if it isn't coming from these last 2 fights they were supposed to win?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Does he have a BKB on Husk?
Still in the works.
No, still in the works. That's I think like he was AFK farming for such a long time, right? And then he joins like 2-3 fights for no reason instead of completing that BKB. I mean, he obviously saw the reason, and I'm sure that if the fights went a little bit better, he could have already had the BKB and it would be a completely different story.
Yep.
But sometimes taking that safer approach is better, right? Especially if the team is completely reliant on you. I'm not sure just how much you can count on Wind Ranger in this game.
Well, 16-6, 22 kills for 22 minutes. We like to see that. But do we like to see Team Secret on the back foot? At least for people rooting for Extreme Gaming, happy to see that this team has found a way to turn around the course since the first series. I mean, when you look at this way, from our perspective, the first series was probably a bit too fast for Extreme Gaming in terms of tempo. Now they can dictate the tempo by themselves, and Secret's just playing passive, allowing them to get into that stage. Maybe that's just what they needed. But Secret, wrap around. Yamich, Armel going into the back line. They're trying to initiate onto Puppy. Puppy's going to get hit, but they also got the arena placed down. Ghost not going to be able to hit it, but they still have the Aegis. They've lost DY, and now Ghost is going to be surrounded by 3 heroes. Yamich, Armel, FBC, pummeling him down. Looking for the kill onto the Drow Ranger. That's going to be death number 1. Crystallis also going to be chasing JQ on the sidelines. Take down the Rubik. Force him away. Armel with BKB. Going to be popping on Ghost. Ghost going to be disarmed for the time being. He's going to be hit by the life break as well. But they're trying to blow down this Husker. And they're successful with it too. And Ghost, he's burning. And he burns down to the ground. They're going to lose Crystallis in the process. And Yamich, can he escape? Yes, he can. But it's a costly, costly loss for Secret. At least they killed the Drow this time. But still no green flag success for them.
Yeah, 3 for 4, right, in the end. So overall, once they got that BKB, even though they're like 6k behind Fighter, it still doesn't look that terrible for them. My issue is like with this BKB and with the Huskar pick, you should have been winning these fights and snowballing already. You should have already been in front, like taking these engagements favorably. You know how the Huskar lineups usually work. But because they took a couple of those, right now, being even in fights, I don't think that benefits them. That one wasn't even, they lost it, but even being even, I'm not sure how good it is. However, they didn't use Black Hole. Maybe that can change things. It's got a blink, by the way, on Puppy.
At least the way the last fight started was really good for Secret FBC. He placed down the arena to block those projectiles from Ghost, keeping Puppy alive, isolated the Drow. Were able to hunt down DY and also Jin-Q while not really getting any proper backup. But when the rest of them were able to connect on top of that Aegis respawn from Ghost, it really turned into a proper fight for Extreme Gaming. So the start was fantastic for Secret, and they're going to have to replicate something like that. But this time, there's no Aegis to fight against. Maybe that's just the advantage that they need. Extreme Gaming chilling around the area, Trying to pressure that tier 2 tower, but Secret, they are ready for this. They're ready to fight.
Yeah, it's a
Second
dangerous one.
BKBs. And a
They're in
9-second BKB
position.
on FBZ. I want to go for the blind blink black hole, but I think that just might be the surprise, you know? The tempo shift sometimes can catch you off guard.
Of course.
And there we go. Yamich, he's going to do exactly that, but Jinky with the fast fingers blink away. Both kind of trying to isolate them with that multi-shot. They've caught Paparazzi, but they also caught Ghost. Ghost going to need some backup. Secret going to be stacking up top of this Drow Ranger. No backup, and a big kill going for Secret.
Puppy.
AT still trying to kill off the Enigma. Snowball not going to connect, and the Stomp also not quite on target. Stolen power shot. Not on the money. Puppy's already teleported away, but look at this. Re-smoke initiation. They be catching Secret off guard. They're going to go straight on the Crystal. A snowball save coming
Nice
out, but they're
snowball.
going to be connecting on the Jinku. But here comes Paparazzi throwing in the two-man stun, and they will lose Crystallis and Yamich, both going down. Beautiful re-smoke, re-engage from Extreme Gaming, and FBC has to beat KPTP away.
Yeah, Paparazzi got right there, being in the right position with the open hands. He embraces both the Tusk and Wind Ranger. They kind of saved that fight. The fight looked really well. The fight was just Drow Ranger dying at the beginning, right? So nice counter smoke. Very fast thinking by Extreme Gaming as well. Showing that, yeah, definitely. I mean, just because it's something that you need a really good voice in the team, you need a good voice to accomplish that, and they just demonstrated that even without Kaka, they can do
JT.
it.
He shows himself in the lane. Puppy's got a fresh blink dagger as well. He could just jump on top of him, and there we go. The black hole will be sent on top of the Ember Spirit. Spear coming out as well from FBZ, and this JT Ember Spirit is history. That's a lot of money as well.
Yeah, at one moment it looked like he might even survive.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, let's see what's going to be following up from this, because the scoreline was 22-6. Sorry, 16-6. Now it's 22-11. So both teams have been scoring an equal amount of kills, pretty much.
Yep, you got
In the
those
last minutes.
BKBs up. You started winning some fights, but you don't have a black hole at the moment, and that's a pretty damn long cooldown that XG was really afraid of. Without the threat of that black hole, imminent doom, the way you call it, I'm pretty sure XG should fight. It's just the fact that they need to wait this Ember to respawn, JT perhaps with the smoke, and a move should be happening.
They are playing pretty close to each other on the side of Extreme Gaming. They could potentially just stack up and go once again. DY holding a gem. And Drow Ranger getting bigger by the minute. Almost that level 20 talent. If he wants to pick up that extra gust cooldown, drop it down to 9 seconds, or maybe an extra 25% multi-shot damage. Not bad either, especially if you're fighting more from a range and wanting to use your abilities more instead of just direct right-clicking. Because it is
It's really
it
good.
is really
It's good.
difficult to position as a Drow sometimes. It feels like maybe just a casual multi-shot is better than just rushing into right-click.
Yeah, because you're playing versus Mars. And that's one of the reasons why Drow is kind of decent versus Mars. You can always multi-shot, so probably what you want to snatch and get up. They're getting a lot of
Right-clicking.
initiating.
Straight into the tree lines.
Yeah.
Catch a casual blink off cooldown, like Puppy's like, oh, my blink's been broken, I can't jump.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But we'll see. Extreme Gaming this time swapping lanes. Last time they were pushing the top lane, now they decide to head over to bottom. No Wisdom Rune to be picked up here. There's a Tormentor that they could look for, and so is Secret also pushing in the top lane. That's a tier 1 going down.
Radiant's top tower is falling.
Meaty Rune of the River, 30 minutes. Roshan, 2 minutes plus. It's going to take a bit of time.
You can see that they're really happy with their timings. As long as there's no black hole, I feel like the fights should be pretty simple for them now. Especially with the BKB on Drow. But The black hole is up on Puppy.
That's a very fast Tormentor taken out. Paparazzi to pick up the shard. So extra distance on the cookie. Also Mortimer's Kiss with that nice little extra dot damage. Secret coming in from the side. That's a DD Wind Ranger. Gotta be careful for it. JT might just run into them. And they will get the catch on him first. Lock him down, start that fight. Oh, the Rubik's also in trouble. Stomp comes out. Crystal is down to half HP. Yamich is going to tank a lot of damage. But goes with his BKB. He's going to fight back. And JT returning to the battle with the Remnant. Secret backing out. Armel is somewhat low. Not low enough to die, though. 2 for 1.
Yeah, 2 for 1 with the Ember buying back. Maybe that was... probably it was necessary. If he doesn't buy back, they don't back out. They continue fighting. But still, it did hurt them a bit. Yeah, yeah. It did hurt them a bit with him buying back. And keep in mind, Black Hole was still unused, so for Secret, this is a pretty big win.
Smoke up and go. Exactly the plan. Even without the Tusk, 4 versus 4. Well, Rubik's going to be able to teleport to that outpost if required. He shall do so. There's a Roshan fight. Secret most likely thinking Extreme is in the pit. But they're right beside it. BZ scouting in the front. Very close to that smoke popping on JT, but they will scout out the Husker. Mars caught on the spot. Tusk still making his run for to regroup with his team, but the Ogre Steel Totem from Mars. And will the hop, skip, and a jump away.
I love he's just triggering that portal, but you know what he's gonna do. Let's go back into the pit, like.
That's a stolen inner fire. He could disarm, actually, when you think about Chinkyu. He could just blink and disarm the Drow. Sorry, the Wind. Force out a BKB off of
or the Huskar even.
Or even the Husker, yeah. Either target. That's a great BKB popping ability with the cost of Rubik's life. Could work.
At some point, man's gotta do what the man's gotta do. You know, you jump in there, you sacrifice yourself for a BKB charge. Your team has an easier time after.
So might be able to win. FBC coming in with the spear, interrupting Paparazzi. The lift coming out as well. Paparazzi, he is choked up. He will cookie away. Ghost getting a lot of damage, and Windsword, he forced out Crystallis. Has to run away with the BKB pop, and Ghost, he's happy with this one.
Yeah, that's one of those...
Paparazzi.
That's one of those cheap BKBs, I would call them. Like, literally utilized for not really a lot.
He's always in a prime position as well to interrupt this. Husker, 1000 HP, has a BKB. Snowball used to try to force Yamich into an unfavorable position. And he's down. And they're still looking to fight on Secret. They're going to charge in. Armel BKB's in. He's not doing any damage to Paparazzi, but the Black Hole from Puppy. He's got ET and also takes down the Snapfire. They're going to lose Crystallis though, but the buybacks are coming in from Extreme Gaming. Already 2. Armel's going to be dropping. And Ghost, he's surviving, and he is taking lives away. Triple kill for him. And with those buybacks, Extreme Gaming, they overpower Secret. Despite the 2-man Black Hole from Puppy, it was pretty much just 3 to 4 heroes left the moment they take that engagement.
Yeah, 2 buybacks straight into the pit. This should be easy ages for them. Nice fight overall by XG. I like the way the Drow completely demolished Crystal. He tried to do what he always does. That's run in and just solo focus.
That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. Like, is this Crystallis Wind Ranger? He's already got 5 deaths. He's not really finding any kills with this hero. Falling behind in items, doesn't really have that much damage to deal, and Drow is just 3 times stronger.
Yeah, I feel like the only time he is getting the kills is when there's so much control that no one can stop his ulti. In that last fight, even if there is control, which there wasn't for the Drow, the Black Hole was used in different targets, still couldn't die. He still couldn't kill her. He died to the multi-shot. Like, then again, I don't think this game is on him, right? Like we've been talking about from the beginning. Huskar is the one. This is a Huskar game. Unfortunately, they didn't manage to snowball it, but they're still in it.
Uh-oh. They saw him with the ward. Now, I still weren't able to jump him, though. Blink was on cooldown for Jin-Q. They did have that high ground ward locating his position. He waltzes down to the low ground here. This is literally like X marks the spot. That's the spot where you grab somebody and they're like, yep, you're not getting out. But somehow Puppey finds a way back home. Carmel's going to get lifted up in the air.
It seemed like they weren't quite sure who's going to go in first. Because Ember was close enough. He could have perhaps broken the blink and then you go in with someone else, but yeah, it happens. To the best players, it still happens. You have vision, you have everything, and just make that one mistake.
Well, Roshan claimed after that previous team fight, Aegis and Cheese for Extreme Gaming. 3 minutes of a timer for them to capitalize. I know you love that word. Crystal is finding a kill with Yamich, and BKB TP home. He's not taking any risks here. They're gonna lose the tusk. Punches himself to death as he Walrus punches that blade mail.
That one last punch. Yeah, for Extreme Gaming, this game feels pretty simple, I would say. Get that MKB, try to get the fight outside of their base, and then push high ground.
Look at top lane. Paparazzi with a Shadow Blade literally walked on top of the Husker, and they're looking for the lockdown. Bumpy coming in with a black hole. Paparazzi's inside it. All 3 heroes on top of him. Paparazzi and Armel
they got Husker, though.
going down. They actually got the Husker, yeah. JT. Man, that blade mail hurts when you're standing on top of that Midnight Pulse. And FBZ, beautiful spear then landing there on top of the Ember Spirit. Exactly where he's gonna land, but that's still 2 for 1. Didn't get to use the G's.
It was a pretty good spear, but they lost the fight prior to that, and they also lost Black Hole. And it happens the same, right? Like they get the MKB, they force the fight outside of the base, and then they can push high ground. Like literally, I feel like Secret gave Extreme Gaming exactly what they needed. That's that fight outside. There's no way you're winning it, by the way. Like you mentioned, they have Aegis, they have Cheese. And I believe the MKB on Drow is completed, right?
Ellie, it was just a one-man black hole, but Puppey, he had to intervene. You got to do something.